Right, so after you've took your wheels off and give them a thorough wash with degreaser, brushes and pressure washer, we'll just get a drying towel and just dry it the best you can so that you don't get any contaminants when you're sanding, because obviously if you get dirt on it you're going to rub the dirt in and it's going to scratch your wheels and you don't want that. You want to avoid the scratches. So just clean them properly, even the tyre, just give that a good whirl round. And that's it, that's more or less dry. Now I'm going to hand it over to Tyre for him to say some words.
To prep and paint your wheels, you'll need to use some gloves so that you don't get paint on your hands, because that's hard to get off unless you've got the right soap. You need some tape so that you can cover up the outside of your wheel and the tyres, because you don't want to paint your tyre. You will need primer. This is a special made primer that's specifically made to paint wheels. It helps protect it from corrosion and other just stones and everything hitting it. You want your black paint. You want your black paint. For this we've got gloss black. It's very quality paint. It's been mixed specifically to the colour code that we need. The sandpaper you will use to obviously sand your wheels down so that the paint can properly stick to them and get into all the nooks and whatever you want to call them. You will need a 600 grade sandpaper, a 1000 grade sandpaper and a 2000 grade sandpaper. You want to start with the 600 and then go on to the 1000, and for a fine finish you want to use the 2000.
Sanding down your tyre, you want to be really gentle with it. Now I've just started and already this old paint's coming off. Whoever painted them before did not do a good job at all, because obviously they're all pitted and cracked and they didn't do anything, and they've sanded them down too rough and there's like scratches everywhere. So right, so we're just going to sand both wheels just like this with 600, 1000 and 2000 grit sandpaper. So you want to get the best finish you can.
After you've sanded the wheel down with 600 grade sandpaper, give it a wash, get all the dust off, and then just go around and give the wheel another dry. Depends on if you're in a rush or not. If you're in a rush, which we are kind of on a rush today because the car's going to be ready to drive tomorrow, and it is currently, I'm looking at my watch, about 12:30.
What watch? There's no watch there.
The watch is up there. So if you're not in a rush, you can just let it air dry, and I don't think it'll affect it much. It's just gives it a longer period to do it. So if you want to have food in between drying, have food. Sorry, I want food. After you've dried it, take your 1000 grade sandpaper and just do what you did with the 600 grade. Just get a nice rub. After you've given the wheel a full rub down in 1000 grade sandpaper, take your towel again after you've washed it to get all the dust off, and then just dry it. Make sure you get in between all the spokes and around the edges. It's a repetitive process, sanding and painting wheels. You're going to do a lot of the stuff the same multiple times if you want to get a really good finish. So we're sanding it with 600, 1000 and 2000. And that's just so we can get a really smooth glossy finish, and that'll really stand out and shine when the sun hits it, or even when the sun doesn't hit it, and it'll just look like a very high quality paint job that you've done to it. After you've dried the wheel, which I've nearly done now, just have to get in between, there you go. After you've dried the wheel, get your 2000 grade sandpaper to this one, and just repeat the process you've done with the 600 and 1000. And just really rub it. With 2000 and 1000 you don't need to rub it as much as you do with the 600, as it's just to get a more finer finish, and you can feel it already how it's turning more glass-like and kind of not as, I don't know how to say it kind of doesn't grab your hand as much, your hand kind of flows along it rather than...
So it's more like smooth than like a gritty finish.
Yeah.
It's like with paint, before you clay it, you can feel like all the rough patches. Then after you clay the paint, it feels absolutely amazing. So I think before we paint them, I think we might clay them as well.
Yeah.
So it gets all the extra debris and contaminants off the wheel, so that we don't F everything up. And then we'll go ahead and hit it with some white spirits, which is going to help remove any of the quick detailers, so we should get a spot on perfect finish. So let's do that. There will obviously still be a bit of grit, so what you want to do, you want to get a hairdryer, blow all the excess water off, then get a quick detailer and clay to pick up any of the leftover grime or dirt before you white spirit it, and then get it ready to put your primer on. So I'm going to put the hairdryer on full, because we don't have a compressor or heat gun. I'm just going to put the hairdryer on full heat and full power, so it'll blast the water away. So I'm going to put music in after this, because this is going to be really loud.
After you have dried the front face of the wheel, which you've sanded down to 2000 grade sandpaper, make sure you check over it to see if there's any flat spots in the sanding or the paint, or see if there's any scratches or indents that you maybe could get out with a little bit more sanding. Turbo going off in the background. After you've dried this side, take the wheel, flip it over. That didn't go very well, I may have lost my hands on that a bit. We have washed this multiple times with degreaser as well, but what you want to do to make sure that the paint does not get messed up is take your very clean towel
Not so
and
clean.
just make sure you dry every part of this tyre, because
Yeah, make sure you get in the barrel as well,
Yeah,
because you don't want any contaminants dripping through or anything.
Yeah.
No, it shouldn't be that dirty, that towel, to be honest. No, I mean after you've cleaned the barrel.
So yeah, you want to make sure you get all inside the barrel, because, well, if you don't and it's wet, the paint will drip through and it'll just won't work properly. It'll just look ugly and smelly, and it won't look professional. And you obviously want to get a professional job, even though you've done it at home DIY, and you're watching our video, so it's not going to be professional. As much as we try, it's going to be a good result.
I mean, I'm hoping, because there's some gauze on the front of the wheels, I'm hoping the primer that we've got will, let's just get a good shot on the primer. I'm hoping the primer that we've got will like cover the imperfections and blemishes in the paint. So, we're going to do that, and we'll soon see. Right, so as I said before, after you've dried all the... you're going to do that as well. After you've dried your wheel, I recommend that you get some quick detail from Maguire's and Maguire's clear. I've already used this on the body, so it doesn't really matter if it gets dirtier, because I've already got more in this little box. So I'm just going to spray down the wheel, spray the clay, and just start rubbing. Now you will feel the contaminants being lifted, because at first it'll be like really rough, and now it's lifted all contaminants, it goes like silky smooth. You want to make sure you get all around the spokes properly and in between, and I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the wheels while I'm here. So I'm going to do that, and then we will get back to you with the white
After
spirits.
your wheel has been fully prepped and you've finished claying it if you want to, if not, then after you've sanded it and dried it down so it's dry, get your masking tape. This can be any grade masking tape, this is just standard masking tape. Some people like to use frog tape, which is better for going around shapes and objects, but with mask tape you just want to get small bits and just tuck them really inside the kind of lip of the wheel where the tyre goes, well, meets the bead of the wheel. That's just... We're only doing this because we've got grey coloured primer. Now, if you don't have masking tape, or if you're in a hurry, because this is quite a long process to do, then you could just buy a black primer and you could get away with it because it's a black tyre, but if you've got a coloured primer like we have, we've got a grey primer.
Well, we don't know if it's grey yet or not, because
No.
it's like a special grade primer for the wheels. Now, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but obviously when we're spraying, one of us is just gonna spray because we don't want different spray patterns. So in the light it'll show up on different, if you know what I mean. It'll be like different.
While the tyres are off the car, it is a good idea to check tread depth and tyre pressure. Now, checking the tread depth is more important on a front wheel drive car because obviously the front wheels get used more. So what you want to do is, if the front ones have been used more and they've got less spread than the rear ones, then you want to swap them over, which can save you buying a fresh set of tyres, essentially, which will save you money.
And that's called tyre rotation. So if you've got your front ones want to go, is it straight back or cross with the back ones? I think it's straight back, isn't it?
Yeah, it's straight back. On front wheel drive cars, it's straight back.
Yeah.
If you've got an all wheel drive car, you want to do cross.
And it's same with the spare tyre. So your spare tyre goes on the right back, and then the others just cross, and then the front left goes in your spare, I think. Yeah, something like that.
After you've got the masking tape fully into the kind of lip of the tyre, where the tyre meets the wheel, you want to just get masking tape and just make sure at least the full face of the tyre wall is covered. That's just to prevent any weird colours coming out. Like, say if you're going to paint it and then you do end up getting primer that is a different colour and it goes in one spot but not the other, you just have a dot on your tyre. It looks dodgy, acceptable, but if you're going to try and do your best, then just take time and masking tape it. Other people use newspaper or cardboard, but we don't have any newspaper or cardboard, so
that's why we're using tape. And also, to give the tyre an extra bit of protection, you can also add a tyre dressing to the outside of the tread to stop any overspray from sticking and drying onto your tread, which obviously will decrease performance and things. Yeah, definitely grip. So if you put a tyre dressing just around the outside, if you haven't covered it with any newspaper or cardboard, then you should pretty much be fine. So we're going to finish up this wheel.
So we have just finished rubbing the wheels down in white spirit, which just removes any more dirt or any impurities that are going to mess up the actual spray of the tyres. Don't forget, when you are spraying tyres, it is very, very dangerous. The toxics or whatever it is, I forgot the word for it, but basically we've opened the garage door a little bit, you can't really see it, but it's open about 4 to 8 inches. That should let air in and out, let the air circulate. Make sure you wear a mask and gloves and goggles. I've not got goggles on at the moment because they're getting cleaned, that's what Kyle's doing now. But yeah, we're both wearing full safety. We've got the spray can here, which is primer. It's got a grey lid, which is what gave us the hint that it could be grey or it could be coloured. So we're just going to wait for the white spray to fully dry.
Sorry,
is it grey?
Yeah, it's grey.
Yeah, so it is a good job that we covered this because this specific primer that we've got is, well, it's grey. So we're going to let this dry and we'll get back to you when we lay down the first coat of primer.
That was the last episode on how to paint your wheels. Now these wheels are dirty because obviously we've been driving it since we've done them, but the other side we need to repaint them because we've had some issues with the paint reacting, so we've stripped it back to primer and bare metal on one of them, so we need to redo that for the other side. But this is a side that's done, so that's why I've only filmed this side, but I need to still polish them and clean them properly for it to get the maximum shine. Now I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, subscribe. See you in the next video.